So now we're going to be in section 3 of chapter 14. We're going to discuss Confucianism in China, examine the civil service exam, and analyze scholar officials and the roles they played. So Confucianism, we talked about this last year in geography. Confucianism is based on the teachings of Confucius, who taught that people need to live lives based on two main practices: ren, or concern for others, and li, or appropriate behavior. Confucius believed everyone had a role to play in society. He believed that Chinese society had gotten disrespectful, that people didn't listen to authority, that they didn't know where they were in society, that people that were stepping out of their societal roles and trying to be something they're not. And so the idea is the best way to treat others and the best way to behave in general is the idea behind Confucianism. This is a quote from Confucius: "Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance." And I like that because it says that we need to realize that we don't know everything and be able to grow from where we're weak. The ideas of Confucius was spread after his death by his followers, and during the period of disunion, Confucianism was overshadowed by Buddhism. People wanted a more spiritual role, and so it gained influence over Confucianism. Confucianism is more of a belief and more of an idea of how you fit in society, where Buddhism focused more on reaching nirvana or spiritual enlightenment. And so because of that, during the period of disunion, when there was chaos going on, people said, we need a religious side, a spiritual side, not telling us where we fit in society. Late in the Tang Dynasty, the scholars began interested in the teachings of Confucius again. And this is going to spawn Neo-Confucianism, which started to spread and was more the ideas of the old beliefs mixed with a more spiritual message. Under the Song Dynasty and afterwards, it became a part of Chinese government. So Confucianism was going to play a big role in establishing, because it believed that people need to obey the government, that people need to obey their parents, that people need to obey the people that's over them in their job. That's the idea of Confucianism. The people that's over you, you show them respect. And by doing so, you fall in your place in society and everybody else does as well. To ultimately, the leader of everybody shows respect for all the subjects because they show respect for him. The Song Dynasty also improved the way people went to work for the government. Now, bureaucracy, and this is still a term used today, is a body of unelected government officials. These are people that weren't elected to government office that are workers in the government. Civil service is service as a government official. We were talking about civics last year, you being a citizen. A civil servant is someone who serves as a government official, usually for a paycheck, usually not elected. Usually they are someone that gets hired for a job working for the government. To become a civil servant, a person had to pass a series of written exams. Now, a scholar official is an educated member of the government. This would help ensure that talented, intellectual people would be working in the government. They wanted people that were wise, people that were smart, people that had an education ruling in the government and helping work in the government. They didn't want people that didn't know what they were doing. This just says, for example, the Chinese had civil service exams. For government workers, the exams were based on the teachings of Confucius. This is so workers receive their jobs based on their strong ethics or doing the right thing. And so the idea was they wanted you to be educated, and they wanted you to know where you fit in society, and they wanted you to make wise decisions, and they wanted you to make the right choice. That was the idea. So they based it on Confucianism. And so that brings us to the end of section 3. We will discuss Confucianism in China, examine the civil service exam, and analyze scholar officials and the role they played, and the importance of these exams were in determining who worked in the government and who didn't. So, we'll move on now to section 4.